message I have for you today is, I guess it could be best summed up as the power of prayer. Some people believe in prayer, some people don't. And I respect everyone's right to each opinion. What works for me, however, is deep, meaningful prayer when I just can't handle the situation myself. It's beyond my control. I want to share a little story with you that'll bring that point home. I made a trip to Colorado. It was business. I was making a delivery of a heavy piece of equipment and some other miscellaneous freight. Hot shot, you know, smaller truck, smaller trailer. And well, part of the trip took me into the mountains. When I got into Colorado, it wasn't snowy or anything. It really wasn't icy. I really didn't have that that sense of foreboding or anything. I mean, I didn't have a sense that anything bad would happen. The newer truck wasn't fully equipped yet, didn't have chains, and it was the first trip to Colorado in that truck. A lot of trips I've taken in the past I was very well prepared for. In the last trip I made to Colorado, I had chains for my 1 ton, but this time was different, and it was getting late. I was coming up on the end of my driving hours. I was just trying to get the load dropped so I could rest and bed down for the night. And I followed the GPS more than I should have. I didn't question it as much as I should have, and it led me down a road that I probably shouldn't have been on in the first place. There was no way back, no way to turn around, and it was all forward. And the road that it wanted me to turn on didn't exist. And this led me to an icy, snowy hill, and the truck wouldn't make it over that hill. Wouldn't make it up the hill. Wouldn't make it to the hill. And there was no backing out. And I was tired, scared. There was absolutely no cell phone reception whatsoever. No houses, no lights, pitch black. The minute the sun dipped below the Rocky Mountains, that was it. It was dark 30. And what was worse is I opened a door to check my surroundings, and there were a lot of tracks in the snow. They weren't human tracks, and they weren't small, and they had claws. And when you're alone out there and you're tired and you see tracks with claws, hibernation, I'm not thinking that bear was hibernating. I'm thinking he was hungry. So, I wanted to stay in the truck as long as I could. I only had a limited amount of fuel. I had no possible idea when somebody would come around that way. And it was remote. When I say remote, I mean I was 35 miles out of the nearest town. I was in a very remote mountainous area. And I'd been in that area before. It wasn't my first time to the area. Probably 10 miles from there is as far as I'd ever went or gone. So, long story short, I was afraid of several things, one of them being dragged off by a hungry bear and nobody knowing what happened to me. Freezing to death entered my mind as it dropped to -2 really quickly. Well, there's only two things that I could do while I was slipping and sliding around on the side of the mountain trying to get over that hill, sliding down, get back up a little ways and slide over the other side. It was pretty dangerous. But what I needed some water. I was very thirsty, and I didn't bring a whole lot with me, but what I really needed was rest, and I needed to get my mind right. So I started out before my rest with a good, long, deep, hard prayer. Not one of those, I promise you, Lord, if you'll get me out of this, I'll be in church every Sunday and Wednesday, and etc., 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 and I'll never cuss again, and I'll give to the poor. None of those crazy things. No, just asking for the power to get myself out of that, the wisdom that I needed to think it out, strength I needed to make it through. And then I rested, and a few hours later I woke up like I had slept 100 years. I mean, I was ready to go. I woke up with the idea in my mind exactly how to get out of there, what to do, and if there could have been a better plan, I don't know what it was, and I made it happen. I disconnected the truck. I didn't have the load, weighing me down anymore. I disconnected the trailer from the truck, which wasn't an easy thing to do, by the way, because I was on a hill, a mountain, and it was pretty icy, and I didn't have anything to drink. So snow is not refreshing, by the way, and it doesn't melt very quickly to make you a nice little cup of water, even in a warm truck. And the snow you pack in a cup like this turns into a water about that much. Take it from me, I tried it. I was in survival mode. So I made it over that hill in the truck without a problem, and the next 3 hills after it that I didn't know were there. I took the time before leaving to carefully map out all of the roads in that little area, all of their names, everything I could, every twist and turn. It took me about an hour to draw it all up off of the GPS. I didn't trust the GPS, but at least it would give me a really good idea of where the main road was that I was looking for, and helped me recognize things that I'd never seen before. And with the help of the GPS, which was only wrong with the road that didn't exist anymore. I mean, all the other roads were there exactly as they were mapped out, but the route it wanted me to take was ridiculous. Even getting out of there, the route it wanted me to take was ridiculous. But I got out. I drove back to town, 35 miles, middle of the night, refueled the truck, tip top as much fuel as I could put in there. Went to the local Walmart, 24 hours. That means something, in the middle of the night. And got me a set of change for the truck like I should have had. I went in and got me a shovel. And ran by Denny's and fueled up on some eggs and grits and toast. And off I went to go retrieve my trailer and my load and get it all dropped off. Get it delivered. I won't bore you with the rest of the story because it's long. It's interesting, but let's just say that it all came together because I had the presence of mind when I was tired and couldn't think of anything to put my hands together and to put my problems out there and ask for help. And I got that help. I got everything I needed. And I made it happen. I wouldn't be talking to you right now had I not. No, I never saw a bear. Never heard a bear. Never saw a wild cat. Never heard one. Never saw a wild animal of any sort. Heard some stuff in the trees and the bushes occasionally, but never saw anything. Power of prayer. That's the moral of the story here. There's nothing more to say. When it's time, and you know that it's more than you can handle, and it's more burden than you can bear, more than you can carry, doesn't matter what the circumstance is. The power of prayer. It works. It worked for me. And that ain't the first time.